Hello there, thank you for being here today. Maybe you too have lived through those long sleepless nights, that strange feeling as if an unseen shadow was watching you, stealing away the peace inside your mind. Don't be so quick to think it was just your imagination. It was the voice of the universe, a signal that a powerful truth was about to be revealed in your life. And right now, you'll begin to realize your journey has never been random. So come with me, step into the very first chapter, where the calling of the universe begins to rise. Aries, you are not here by accident. The universe has led you to these words because your soul needs to hear a truth that has been quietly knocking at your door. Sometimes we walk through life thinking it's all random, but in reality, every moment is arranged like a mirror so we can look back into ourselves. And today, you've chosen the right moment, the right frequency to receive a message your soul has been longing for. Think back to those long nights when you tossed and turned, unable to sleep, your heart racing for no reason, your eyes fixed on the ceiling, waiting for some invisible sign. Remember the days when you felt exhausted without any clear cause, as if your energy was being drained by an unseen hand. And those times when you passed a familiar place and suddenly the air felt thick, every breath grew heavy and a quiet unease crept into your chest. Aries, none of that was your imagination. It wasn't weakness in your mind. It was the voice of your soul, a primal instinct awakening to warn you that something was not right nearby. In Buddhism, they say unease is not the enemy, it is the messenger. It doesn't come to frighten you, it comes to guide you. Every time your heart skipped a beat, every time you felt watched in the dark, that was the warning bell ringing from the deepest layer of the universe. You see, Aries, people are taught to doubt their own feelings. We tell ourselves, I'm just too sensitive, I'm imagining things. But the truth is, your soul is more aware than you realize. It senses the invisible waves, the vibrations the naked eye cannot see. When you feel unsettled, that is your soul reaching for you, whispering, pay attention, something is happening here. Don't blame yourself for doubting. The modern world teaches us to trust logic more than intuition. But your heart, Aries, has always been the most reliable compass. And those days of unease, they were preparing you for this very moment, the moment truth begins to reveal itself. I want you to pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, how many times in your life have you ignored your gut feeling? How many times have you silenced that quiet voice in your chest, only to realize later that your intuition was right? That is not just your personal experience. It is the shared experience of humanity. And what you are going through now is a lesson we all need to learn, how to trust the soul itself, because within it lives an ancient wisdom no book could ever replace. Aries, look back at your journey. The struggles, the pain, the moments that seemed meaningless, all of them carried the same reminder. There is something hidden in the dark, and it's time you see it. This is not a warning meant to frighten you. It is an invitation to step into truth, face it, and free yourself. I need you to know this. The universe has never left you alone in the dark. Even if you once felt abandoned, remember, even in the quietest hour, a field of light was still surrounding you. In Buddhism, it is called boundless compassion. In astrology, we call it divine protection. Both point to the same truth: you are seen, you are heard, you are held. So if you are sitting here in this stillness, allow yourself to believe that the unease you once carried had a purpose. It was how the universe prepared you, sharpening the senses of your soul so when the truth finally arrived, you would be ready. Aries, you have lived as a warrior, but today you are invited to live as an awakened observer. Open your heart and let the feelings that once confused you now become the lantern that lights your path. Don't see them as a burden. See them as a gift, the gift of awareness, of intuition, of a sacred connection no one can take away. And now, having listened to that call, having realized your soul was never mistaken, it's time to look closer at where that unease was born. Because the truth you've been seeking, Aries, is not far away. It begins in a familiar place, very near the place known as the second house beside you. Aries, the second house I speak of today is not just a building of bricks or a wooden door beside you. It is a symbol, a marker in your spiritual journey, where darkness once crept in close, to test your resolve, to challenge the light within you. We often believe danger comes from far away, yet sometimes it is what stands right next to us, so near, so familiar, that hides the deepest mysteries. You felt it before, that piercing gaze at your back, a chill running down your spine. At times, you've heard whispers, unclear, yet sharp enough to sink into your heart, leaving you to wonder, is someone secretly working against me? Maybe you blamed yourself for being suspicious, for letting those thoughts take hold, but your soul was not wrong. That second house is the image of hidden eyes, of intentions cloaked, of quiet schemes turning in the shadows around you. In Buddhism, there is a simple but profound truth: darkness does not exist to swallow the light, but to reveal just how radiant the light already is. Darkness is a mirror, reflecting the strength you carry within. That second house, with all it represents, became a great test for the Aries soul. It was like a sudden storm, shaking you in the night, yet sharpening your vision to see what had long been concealed. Think of the times you walked past and felt the air grow heavy. The moments when you heard a voice yet sensed another meaning behind the smile. Those moments were not accidents. They were reminders from the universe that even in familiar places, there are shadows you must face. And in that closeness, the test cut deeper because it touched your heart, your trust, even your sense of safety you thought could never be shaken. Remember this, Aries: you were never weak for feeling fear. You were simply human with a sensitive heart. And that sensitivity is a gift. Only the sensitive can feel the unseen layers of energy. Only the sensitive notice what others overlook, hear the echoes others dismiss as silence. That second house awakened this truth within you: your intuition is a treasure. And the darkness, harsh as it seemed, became a teacher, forcing you to trust that intuition. In today's world, many choose silence in the face of unease. They close their eyes, they turn away, they say it's probably nothing. But when nothing repeats again and again, it is no longer random, it is a sign. And you, Aries, were chosen not to ignore it. The lesson here carries deep human value: to learn to trust the voice within. For if we all learned to listen, this world would hold fewer mistakes and far less needless pain. Yes, Aries, that second house may have stolen your peace. It may have made you question yourself. But it also became the doorway to your growth. It taught you that not everything close is safe. Not everyone standing beside you is sincere. And more than anything, it gave you the chance to see the light within yourself, a light no darkness can ever extinguish. Let me share a belief of my own. I truly believe the universe sometimes places us beside the dark, not to break us, but to make us witnesses of the light's power. Like a candle in a dark room, only then does its glow truly shine. If you've never felt heaviness, you would never know the gift of peace. If you've never walked through struggle, you would never discover the endurance of your heart. That second house was exactly that test, and you have passed through it. Now take a deep breath and realize what once worried you, what once kept you awake at night, is now only a memory. It is no longer a burden. It has become proof of the strength you now carry. And from that proof, you step into the next stage of your journey, where the battle is no longer just uneasy feelings, but an invisible field where your soul is being forged to shine brighter still. Aries, hold the fire in your heart. For ahead lies not only the darkness already unmasked, but a wider battlefield where your spiritual power, your light, will be tested until it rises like dawn breaking through the night. And from that very clash, you will enter an unseen battleground, one filled with the force of spirit, where your soul discovers its true strength. Aries, there are battles that never clash with swords, never leave scars on the skin, yet they eat away at every heartbeat, every breath, every restless night. That was the battle you walked through. Others may not have seen it. They may not understand why you lay awake so many nights, but you felt it clearly, those invisible waves crashing against your soul. Your peace disturbed, the air around you heavy, and at times you wondered, am I just imagining too much? No, Aries, this was no illusion. It was a real war, an invisible war. In that darkness, your energy was attacked. Even simple joys felt fragile, like a flickering candle in a strong wind. There were mornings you woke heavy in body and spirit, no strength left, even though the day before you were filled with hope. It felt like an unseen hand was quietly stealing your life force. And the hardest part sometimes, that darkness came from the closest places, from people or circumstances you once thought were safe. But Aries, hear this truth. You were never weak. You were never a victim. You were chosen to carry the flame in the dark. There's a deeper law at work. No one is given a trial they cannot endure. If the darkness came for you, it's because your light was too strong enough to resist, strong enough to make it tremble. Picture a single lamp in a dark room. The room may be vast, the night may be thick, but one small flame changes everything. You are that flame. The darkness did not choose anyone else, it chose you, because only you had the strength to face it and prove that light cannot be extinguished. Maybe you've asked yourself, why me? Why must I go through this? The answer lies in a strength within you, a strength you never knew you had. These invisible battles did not come to destroy you. They came to train your soul. Just as iron is forged in fire, just as gold is refined in the furnace, your spirit has been shaped through these unseen clashes. And from that struggle, you've learned what no book could ever teach. You learned how to hold your peace in the storm. You learned how to trust your intuition, even when the world around you denied it. You learned how to stand firm without witnesses, because deep down you knew what was right. That is the power of a soul that has grown. Aries, I need you to understand your very existence is proof. In the moments that looked like weakness, you did not surrender. You kept a single spark alive, and that spark declared to the universe, I am still here. I will not fall. The greater the trial, the brighter your light burns. That is your destiny. Buddhism teaches, no mud, no lotus. And the same is true here. Without the darkness, you would never know the depth of your light. This invisible battle, with all its pain and tests, was the mud, and from it the lotus within you rose. And when it blooms, nothing can hide its fragrance, nothing can dim its beauty. So let your heart rest for a moment and recognize you've come farther than you thought. You didn't just survive, you grew. You didn't just endure, you transformed. And that's why you're here, listening now, because your soul is ready to rise to a higher level. There is something mysterious in these invisible battles. At the very moment you thought you might lose yourself, a greater power surrounded you. When human strength fails, the universe reaches out its hand. And in that fragile moment, the sacred intervenes. Aries, open your heart and receive it, because in the very instant you felt weakest, a divine force appeared, the intervention of Archangel Michael. When the night felt endless, when your eyes grew heavy with nameless worries, there was always a hand upon your shoulder, an unseen hand, not to walk in your place, but to remind you you are never alone. In every breath of silence, Archangel Michael stood guard, holding your soul with a strength nothing could shake. He carries a sword of fire, not to spread fear, but to cut away the invisible chains around you, chains of envy, of doubt, of hidden intentions sent quietly in your direction. The heavy layers of energy that once weighed you down are now dissolving like morning mist under the rising sun. Do you remember those days when your chest felt tight as you walked? Those nights when you closed your eyes only to wake in a sweat from unsettling dreams? Those were the marks of invisible shackles. But now Michael has struck his sword, breaking each one, strand by strand. And as they fall away, the space around you grows lighter, as if, for the very first time, you can finally breathe without resistance. No darkness has the power to cover you anymore. No whisper can deceive your intuition. The fire in your heart, the pioneering flame of Aries, is sealed in divine light, protected by sacred power. That flame is not only to guide you, but to light the path for others still stumbling in the dark. In ancient cultures, they believed that when Michael intervenes, no force of shadow can remain. He is more than a warrior, he is the symbol of truth, of justice, of the strength of light that rises above every small scheme. And today, his presence is not a distant story. It is happening in your life right now. The peace you feel returning, the clarity settling in this is the clearest proof. This carries a deeply human message. In our modern world, we are often bound not by chains of iron, but by judgment, by prejudice, by the eyes of comparison. They rob us of confidence, make us bow our heads, make us lives smaller than we are. But Michael's message reminds us no chain is permanent. Through faith, through light, we can break them all. And when one person breaks free, they don't just free themselves, they open the way for others. Aries, you've walked a long path through the dark, and in your lowest moment, you touched divine protection. Don't see this as random salvation. This is proof that you are worthy. The fire inside you was never gone, only hidden. Now, it rises again, stronger, steadier, and brighter than ever. As you stand firm in that light, Let your heart remember everything that once tried to break you has now become the ground on which you stand taller. Trials have not taken anything eternal from you. They have only revealed the strength that was always yours. And once awakened, that strength can never be lost. Breathe slowly, feel the space around you shifting. Peace is returning. A new clarity is opening in your mind. And from this moment on, you are not only protected, you are prepared to see truths that have been hidden far too long. Because when divine light intervenes, everything concealed must come to the surface. This is the moment of revelation and rebirth. The moment of revelation always comes like dawn after a long night. No one can stop the sun from rising, and no one can keep hidden what has reached its time to shine. What was once concealed, the whispers behind your back, the judging eyes, the covered intentions, all of it is now stepping out into the light. You don't have to argue. You don't have to prove yourself. The universe has its own way of revealing truth, and when truth appears, it feels like rain washing away years of dust, leaving the air clear, letting you breathe easy, letting you finally see. People may try to build curtains with words, with manipulation, with false smiles, but every play ends. When divine light shines, no mask can stand. That is the gift you are entering now, the season of revelation. No more hidden shadows, no more secrets locked in another's hands. Everything returns to its rightful place. And more than that, Aries, you're not only seeing truth outside of you, but also the truth within your own soul. The questions that once weighed on you, the wounds that once confused you, now rest beneath a new light. And that light tells you you were never as weak as you thought. You were only growing in the way the universe had written. What was taken from you, the time wasted on unworthy bonds, the peace stolen by worry and suspicion, the chances you thought had slipped away, all of it comes back. Not just enough, but multiplied. The universe never lets loss be meaningless. Every piece you thought was gone now returns in new form, richer, deeper, filled with blessings. Think of an old dream that once set your heart on fire, but was smothered by circumstance. Think of a door that slammed shut, making you believe the chance was gone forever. Or a connection, a person, a love you thought was lost to the void. Now all of it rises again. Not in the way you once imagined, but in a fuller, truer way, arriving at the right moment. In Buddhist teaching, there is a simple truth. The lotus only blooms in its season, and when it does, its fragrance spreads. No one can hold it back. The same is true here. The blessings once delayed are now arriving because your heart is ready. No more rushing, no more regret. You're stepping into a new chapter where what seemed lost becomes the foundation of a richer life, both in spirit and in the material world. Aries, this rebirth is not just what happens around you. It is happening within you. You feel lighter, clearer, as if every step carries a new energy. You no longer look back with resentment, but with gratitude. Because you now know without the losses, you wouldn't have the depth to treasure what is arriving today. This is a message the whole world needs. Do not fear when a door closes. Sometimes it's only preparing you for the right door to open. And don't grieve over what is left. If it truly belongs to you, it will return. Not as it was, but greater than before. Rebirth is proof that nothing is ever really lost. Everything is waiting for its perfect circle to come back. Take a pause for yourself. Breathe deeply. Feel that you are standing in a new space, a space filled with light, with no more hiding, a place where you can lift your head high and live true to your soul's flame. This is your season, the season of revelation and rebirth. And in this rising, a new gift awakens. Your intuition becomes sharper, letting you see clearly who is genuine and who is only wearing a mask. After everything you've been through, you begin to notice something strange within yourself. Every sense feels sharper now. Not the fragile kind of sensitivity that once left you wounded, but a powerful clarity, as if you've gained a third eye, a wisdom that sees through the surface of people and things. You're no longer fooled by polite smiles, sweet words, or glittering masks. Instead, you feel the real energy hidden beneath. Maybe you've wondered why some people leave you heavy just by being near, while others, even in passing, bring ease like the first light of morning. That's not random. That is intuition, the greatest weapon you've gained from your invisible battle. When darkness tried to put you out, it never expected this. Instead of fading, you burned brighter. Your flame no longer lights only yourself, it now reveals the true faces around you. In Buddhist teaching, there's a concept of wisdom, the vision that looks past appearances, straight into essence. When you hold this vision, you're no longer fooled by outer paint. You see the truth. You see what is real. You see into the hearts of others. And that sight shows you who deserves a place in your closest circle and who needs to be released to walk their own path. This isn't just personal strength, it's a human lesson. In a noisy world, people are too often drawn to what is shiny, sweet words, pretty images, false glory. But when you learn to listen to intuition, you choose not with your eyes but with your heart. And if more of us did that, there would be less betrayal, less heartbreak, fewer wounds born of illusions. Aries, you've earned something rare. A spiritual sharpness like a compass guiding you, so you no longer lose yourself in life's wild forest. It reminds you, not everyone is trustworthy, but not everyone is suspect either. You can tell the difference now. And that discernment comes from a place deeper than reason. It comes from the sacred voice within. You'll notice the change. Relationships that once confused you will become clear. You'll know who truly wishes you well, and who only wants to borrow your light to cover their darkness. And when you see that, a wave of freedom fills you, because you no longer need to please everyone. You only need to be honest with your soul. Pause for a moment, listen to your breath, and feel the growth that has blossomed inside you. This is no longer the journey of someone seeking protection. It is the journey of someone carrying intuition as both shield and sword. It guards you from lies and it leads you forward into truth. And the beauty is this awakening does not make you cold. It makes you more compassionate. Because when you see clearly, you also understand the pain and weakness in others. You don't need to judge, you only need to choose the wise path for yourself. And by that wisdom, you become a lantern guiding those still stumbling in the dark. Aries, you are no longer who you were. You've walked through a door that cannot be closed behind you. Intuition is now your greatest weapon, and it will only grow sharper the more you trust it, the more you use it. The world may still test you, but with this awakened sight, you will never fear as you once did. And now, with intuition burning as your light, you are ready to enter a new chapter, the season of freedom and full restoration. There is a deeper truth you may have never realized. The place that once felt like a battlefield of darkness has now become a witness to the triumph of light. The second house, the space that once weighed on you with unease, with hidden whispers, with unseen shadows, now stands silent like a witness. No more heavy noise, no more invisible chains, only the clear air, only peace flowing through your soul. You'll notice yourself changing in simple yet miraculous ways. At night, you sleep more deeply, no longer startled awake by restless dreams. In the morning, you rise with energy overflowing as if your body has rediscovered its natural rhythm. Dreams once buried in fear return, not as distant images, but as real doors opening before you. An old opportunity once denied or missed now revives in new form, wider, more beautiful than before. And new chances are waiting too. You'll see that whenever one chapter closes, another always opens. You no longer look at life with confusion, but with the calm clarity of someone who has stood at the edge between dark and light. Through it all, you've learned darkness never truly wins. It only tests you, only tempers you so that when you step out, you shine brighter. This is a great lesson, not just for you, but for all of us. In life, everyone will feel trapped at times, watched, stripped of peace. And yet somehow we find the light inside ourselves. And in that moment, we know darkness was only the strict teacher, but light is the eternal nature. Trials don't destroy, they only train. Aries, have you ever felt watched, unsafe, and then found the light inside yourself? Share that story, because you are not alone. Your story may become healing for someone else, someone lost in their night, needing to hear there is a way out, that there is a light waiting. I want to pause here to say thank you. Thank you, Aries, for letting me walk with you on this journey. Your very presence is a gift to the world, a living proof that light is real, that inner strength never disappears. And from the depth of my heart, I want to offer you this blessing. May light, peace, and rebirth always dwell in the house of your soul today and for all the days ahead. And as you walk your path, remember this: every step you take carries meaning, not just for you, but for the other souls following your light, searching for their own way out of the dark.